Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hey, What's on Tap podcast, and we are out on the town exploring the bars and places we haven't been to yet on a random Monday, so it kind of keeps the crowds down and also the options down.
Yes. When Stefan says places we haven't been yet with the show to record, because we are at Paddy's, a staple of Swedish Malmö bad bars, actually.
It's kind of one of the hot nightlife spots. So that's probably why we don't go here, because it's a hot happening nightlife spot, and that's quite frankly where that's not our realm of options. But for a beer selection, they've got I would say a good 15 taps.
And more, actually.
Yeah. But they've got a duplicate on each end, but they've got at least at least 15 to 20 taps of various stuff, and some surprising quality. They've got at least surprisingly 2 Goose Island beers on tap, a Session and their IPA. I calculate 23 unique taps, and then duplicates on top of that. That's pretty impressive. But then when you also consider that 3 of them are Mariestad, and 2 are rather generic milk toast Gamma Brewing beers.
Not Gamma,
Beavertown. Oh God, I remember when Beavertown was
Gamma's
good.
Great.
I miss Beavertown.
When it was good.
Yes. Before they were purchased and became just like 3 beers that nobody was really interested in to begin with. But today we have something from Magicrock, which used to be a staple of bars and Systembolaget offers, but has now dwindled to occasionally you can find them in web shops, which is a real shame because I've always liked Magicrock, and I was kind of excited to see this one. However, I'm not that excited about the beer they have on tap, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I do like the High Wire beer. I think they do it in a couple of different versions, but this is the High Wire Mandarin. Which I find that Mandarin or orange flavored beers tend to not be my favorite, but screw it, let's do this.
Let's try it.
All right. So to start with, it is semi-hazy kind of IPA.
So now I've tasted it. Either it's the Mandarin that messes it up, or they've done something with their tap lines where they're not really clean.
That's an unclean tap line.
This
Wow.
tastes quite off. The sad part is, I asked them, do you sell different sizes of your pours? And they go, no, only one size, only 40 centiliters. So now we're stuck with an enormous amount of off-smelling. It's very soapy. I doubt that the original beer is this soapy and buttery. It's more butter than soap.
Yeah, that is definitely unclean tap lines. Wow. God, all I taste is, I don't even taste the beer. I just taste wild, funky, chemically flavors that don't exist, that should not exist in the beer.
That is quite brutal. It's very, very perfumey as well.
Yeah.
That might be from the original beer. Who knows?
It is impossible to say. I feel like the Mandarin part is completely missing in this, which is usually some sort of orangey, chalky kind of flavor whenever I have these kind of beers. So I was really expecting that. But in this, I just get like buttery, phenolic, soapy kind of flavors, which for me feels like they just haven't cleaned the tap lines before.
Let's see if anyone else in the world is agreeing with us without drinking it here. No, there aren't that many people who... Yeah, people say it's artificial Mandarin.
Yeah, see, I'm not getting any Mandarin at all. So that's why I think that maybe the tap lines just aren't purged very well. And we're just getting some really...
But to be fair, the global average for this beer is very low. It's 3.31.
All right, well, maybe it just isn't that good of a beer. But I feel like...
So right now, my biggest enjoyment here isn't the beer. It's looking at Stefan, because he's always an amazing man creature. But just behind Stefan is a painting of 3 topless women for some reason. I don't know why there would be topless paintings but there are. So that's better than this beer.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this, I'm going to rate, so I'm going to give two ratings. One, the beer that's in the glass. That's a 2.5, hands down. I feel like I'm being generous there. However, I feel that the beer that should be there is probably around a 3, maybe like 3.25-ish. But I think there's some definite line issues, and they're not very clean, and there's some other things going on here, because this is not how a beer should taste.
I feel like you're being extremely generous with the 2.5 on the beer that's in the glass. It's a maximum 1.51 even. I think this is really defective.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it's the beer. I think it's the tap lines here at Paddy's.
I think so too.
And that's why I feel like I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here, and say we'll probably check this in at a 3.25 with a huge asterisk saying like, I need to try this again. The tap lines were garbage. There's some weird chemically flavors here that shouldn't be here.
Yeah, so let's go to the second beer. That's Dugas Big Black Violet, which is a flower licorice sour. A beer I would never in my wildest dreams order 40 centiliters of.
No.
This for me would be a dessert beer. A 20 centiliter or even a 10 would be better.
I can't. There's a lot of licorice coming off the nose on this. You got to smell this thing.
That's promising. I like licorice.
Yeah.
It smells great.
I know it does. Go ahead and take your inaugural sip there. Yeah.
Okay, so this tastes exactly like it's promised. This doesn't have any bad tap lines.
No.
This particular tap. The licorice part is great, and the flower part is terrible. It's really going into
It starts out as a licorice cassis kind of flavor.
good tasty, yes.
Yeah. And then it ends on this horrible metallic penny kind of coppery flavor.
Yeah.
It's like the copperiness at the end is just kind of like if you've ever sucked blood off of your finger and it's got that coppery. It's kind of how coppery it is. But the initial flavor is really good. It's just.
You say cassis, but there is a specific candy in Sweden, violet candy, which is violet flowers. Viol, we just call it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it tastes like before it gets into this really tough.
It's really strange because the upfront is super pleasant. They're slightly tart, nice licoricey flavors, little floral, little perfumey, and then it just ends with this crashing copper, metallic flavor. And just it's tough.
That is tough. I want to go on a mini tangent because on this tap list we find Gotland's Brewery's White Bulldog, a white IPA that they've recently rebranded.
Wait. So first, white IPAs are usually IPAs with coriander and orange peel.
That's a Belgian wheat beer.
Well, it's also a white IPA.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But they've recently rebranded it. So it's now called White Bulldog NEIPA, as in New England IPA. And they went out with kind of a press release within the last 6 to 12 months, saying that they were the first in Sweden to ever do a New England IPA years and years and years ago, when the style was new in America. But it was never a New England IPA. It still isn't a New England IPA. It's just a wild PR cash grab, which the Swedish beer nerd scene has really glommed onto as their favorite thing to hate on right now.
And it's easy to hate on them as well.
We should have bought that instead of this disgusting high wire Mandarin.
I completely agree with you on that one.
That one might still have had dirty taps. Who knows?
Very true. Well, God, that was so bad.
I gotta try this.
I will say the longer
violet.
that the violet sits, the more of the licorice notes kind of linger in the mouth, and it's quite nice. But the initial maybe it just needs to warm up some or something.
Maybe. Are violet flowers a specific flower in English? I'm asking. Yeah, it has to be this.
Yes.
With that you could actually eat.
Yeah.
I did as a kid.
Nobody does because it's a.
It's not poisonous.
It's not poisonous, but it's really perfumey.
Yeah.
So most people wouldn't eat it.
But
you can get violet ice cream here, and you can get a lot of violet candy and stuff. Sweden's a weird culture sometimes. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Mostly ruled by chaos and anarchy.
That is true. Because the licorice parts and the violet parts are really hitting my childhood nostalgia.
Yeah, there's like a
flavor
candy kind of like nostalgia factor going on here.
You are. I think you're right. I think the warmer it gets, the less of this weird. You say penny. That's a good note. I would say a dirt.
For me, it's more coppery than dirt. Yeah. It's not earthy. It's very.
I just have such difficulty finding the words for this aftertaste that is like pennies. Because I'm not used to it.
Because you don't have the aura anymore. You don't have the 50 aura anymore.
Yeah,
which would be the penny.
We don't have a lot of coins in Sweden anymore.
Yeah, now this is time to sit and it's warmed up a little bit. I'm liking it better.
Yeah.
My palate's adjusting to it, so the coppery notes have become less obvious as the licorice flavor overwhelms everything else. So I'm going to give this a 3, I think.
I'm now at the strong 3.5, or even above, just because of the. I'm now willing to disregard. My brain has started to just turn off when it gets to the bad parts of this beer.
I can see that.
You call it that our taste buds are getting accustomed to it.
Yes.
I think that's more true than my brain just. Ooh, tasty! Let's stop all bad feelings entering. 3.5 or even a weak 3.75. I'm digging it. Especially next to, I gotta retry the High Wire Mandarin.
I can't do the High Wire Mandarin.
This is the most buttery smell I've smelled in a whole long time.
Yeah, it's definitely bad tap wines.
That is ghastly.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that again.
But this is the problem of a bar that has 23 different beers on tap and then multiple taps. They don't have the capacity to keep all of this clean and fresh.
Yeah, and this is really a burn and churn kind of bar. I mean, they're not looking to present the best stuff. They're just looking to get it out and move on to the next thing.
But also, I think a lot of the patrons, they go for the shore cards. They won't go for High Wire Mandarin, meaning there's a high risk that this has been sitting here for months and months and months and months.
Very, very possible.
This might be a keg that was put on a long time ago. I'm basing that only on the patronage and what's also on, because there's a lot of standards. Like Goose Island IPA, it's not a bad beer. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would go for that before Rock High Wire Mandarin at a place like this.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Everyone says IPA. Oh, that's new and trendy.
Yeah. And most of their stuff is, they've got a couple of German Paulaner beers. They've got some Czech beers. They've got some McKellar. There's a Hogarten, Lefe. So, I mean, it's one of those, what do you call them, beer bars that, like, acts like they have a lot of, like, craft beer, but really it's just, like, large corporate beers, owned by Heineken or AB InBev kind of stuff.
Because here in Sweden, Gotland's brewery is owned by Spendrups.
Yeah.
I think Mariestad is as well.
I would guess that all of those taps are owned by Spendrups.
Yeah.
And they just have the largest selection of any place that I've seen so far. Because I've seen some other Spendrups bars and they don't have. Nope. There's no Norland's Gold on the tap. Because I have seen some places that have the neck oil or maybe Gamma Ray from Beavertown on tap, and then they have those like the Heineken frosted taps.
Yeah,
but it's Norland's Gold, which is like the most generic lager of Sweden, basically. But it used to go to, so back in the day when you could go to like dive bars in Sweden, you would get a Storstag,
Yes.
and it would be a Norrlands Gold. Would be the thing on tap, basically.
Definitely. But I gotta give this place one bonus point, and that is the tap handles. They actually have the Goose Island goose head tap handles. Their Mikkeller Kärlek or Love actually has a Mikkeller handle. The Hogarden and the Leffe tap handles are genuine.
I know. I kind of want to steal those Beavertown tap handles because they're super cool.
The Beavertown tap handles are like these figurines.
Yeah.
So I gotta give them that. Also, on their super regulars, they're like the Mariestad and the Gotlands and the Beavertown. They have little tasting notes underneath the beer label.
That's nice.
You see it; it's lit up.
Oh yeah.
So that unknowing patrons can actually see this one is a little bit more bitter, this one is a little bit more sweet. And that's something that a lot of beer bars have just stopped doing or never started because they feel like their patrons are already knowledgeable. Oh,
Yeah.
we are a craft beer bar. We don't have to say anything about the beer. And I feel like that knowledge to the consumer has kind of gotten lost along the way.
Well, I will say the only thing you really need to know about Paddy's is they've got Fernet Branca on tap.
The Fernet Branca on tap?
Yeah. So
Oh, that is amazing.
that is amazing. And I think with that, we can wrap this up. You can find us at what'sontappodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever there's podcast, you'll find What's on Tap.
Until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.